All right. Hey everybody, how we doing? It's your boy Grody from ZUDECAST here. Got my Instagram handle right here. I'm doing a little solo video today talking about the Book of Boba Fett. I've been keeping up with that one here. We're gonna be pumping out more videos and stuff soon, so go ahead and check that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm so clunky. It's my first solo video. I'm a YouTuber now, guys. It's exciting. But I just wanted to get in on this party here, man. Book of Boba Fett, episode 5. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, for those who don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm a dork, and I'm making a video about it right now. But yeah, man, crazy episode. It's the show's been getting like a real mixed reception lately. For the first 4 episodes, a lot of people, kind of feeling some type of way about how it's been coming out. There's been a lot of kind of character work without a lot of action, and a lot of fans have been kind of put in this weird position here. And I think this episode didn't really do a lot to make people feel it made people feel a lot better, but it also kind of was a mixed bag and a weird kind of feeling. It gave a lot of people, and it rubbed people in a interesting way too, because this episode, spoiler alert, by the way, full spoilers, I'm going into this, just going right in. This episode didn't have any Boba Fett in it. Really kind of, a lot of people were kind of taken aback by that. And we'll get into what I mean right now too. So we're going to kind of just breeze through the episode as I'm just kind of walk kind of through the plot and stuff. I got some visuals and stuff. But like, comment, subscribe. We're going to keep trying to do this, so I can keep getting better and whatnot. And let's check it out here. So Book of Boba Fett. So, everybody knew Mando was coming at the end of episode 4. They're talking about hiring, some muscle to deal with the Pikes, who are the new they're trying to make a move on Mon Espa, which is the place where Boba Fett has laid claim to after escaping from the Sarlacc pit and teaming up with God damn it, of course I forget her name right now. Fennec Shand. So teaming up with Fennec Shand, and we saw the events of season 2 Mandalorian. And a lot of the show has been showing them trying to establish this criminal, like a mob family in Mon Espa, while giving us like flashbacks to how Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit. Now he ended up where we saw him in Mandalorian season 2. And so far, like I said too, a lot of people, there's been a lot of mixed reception. Boba Fett hasn't really gotten to do that much action wise. There's been a lot of character setup, and I think the best scenes, kind of a lot of fans are in agreement, were of him in the flashback. We learn a lot about the Tusken Raiders, and we learn kind of where Boba's mindset is now. And I think a lot of people have been very kind of on the fence about that. But anyways, he's come into conflict with this other crime syndicate called the Pikes after kind of standing up to these these Hutt twins too. It's been a whole thing. I'm gonna do a whole recap of all the episodes so far. But basically, on the end of the last episode, they were saying, "Oh, we're gonna need some extra muscle, and you can always buy more muscle." And it cues the Mandalorian theme, so everybody knew Din Djarin was coming. To Boba Fett, it's a no-brainer. He's a real popular character. They already teamed up on season 2, and it makes sense, just by the code that they both have, that they would probably do another team up should the need arise, because they really did get along pretty well in the season 2. I think they had a good dynamic, and they bounced off each other well. This version of Boba Fett's a little bit different than in season 2 of The Mandalorian, so we'll see, how they go from there when they do have that dynamic. But I was kind of upset I didn't get to see that in this episode. I thought the first half would be them kind of, bringing him in, and then he comes to Tatooine real quick, and then they kind of link up and go from there. But it was really an entire episode dedicated to where Din Djarin's been and what he's been up to. Now that said, oh shit. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing here. Let me go back over here. Boom. All right. That being said, I was so happy. This is the concept art, by the way. I'm gonna use mostly the concept art and a couple screenshots, but I was so happy to see something other than Tatooine, man. I am so tired of Tatooine. It's iconic. It's obviously legendary, and we're gonna get more of it in Obi-Wan Kenobi too coming up. But man, I don't know. I just hoped for a little bit more hopping around in the Book of Boba Fett, or maybe the flashbacks could have had a little bit more of his bounty hunting days, and we could have seen, a couple different planets, him hunting down some bounties, even if they're just like quick little scenes, with no dialogue in them. I think it could have been cool, lots of I think that's something that would have been cool to see, but it's been mostly set to Tatooine, and I knew a big chunk was going to be on Tatooine, obviously, especially because he took out Bib Fortuna in the teaser. But it was really a relief to see something else, and not just something like somewhere else, but somewhere else new. This is this this kind of like space station city here that that Din Djarin was doing a bounty on, and it's just this really, really tense scene. It opens up in like a meat factory, almost like a processing plant, and Din Djarin's coming in. These guys are in the back being scumbags. It's obviously implied to be some kind of sus operation, and he just walks right in and just gives them the stern business. Says you can come. He gives the line, you can come in hot, or I could bring you in cold. And yeah, man, just a real kick-ass reintroduction for the character. Obviously I was stoked on that, because we knew he was coming, and we knew that the story of Book of Boba Fett was building up to like this kind of this next level of conflict where we're gonna have more players involved. And yeah, I was stoked. This opening scene was amazing. This really was like, it reminded me of what like Star Wars like was like, not just like, I don't know. I feel like the brutality and the tone of this is what a lot of people have been craving out of Star Wars for a while, because it's easy to forget, between the sequel trilogies and some of the comics, and how it kind of just sanitized it's become in recent years under Disney and stuff. But Star Wars is brutal, man. It's always been brutal. It's always had these kind of you don't want the first movie, in like the first half of the movie, Obi-Wan cuts someone's hand off with a lightsaber and there's blood. It's not even like later on when it's cauterized, like there's legit like blood there just chilling on the floor, and it's a mess, and yeah, he just comes in swinging like that too, and it really reminds me, that's like, yeah, these fools they're bounty hunters still, even though this is our main character, he will bring someone in dead or alive, and I like that a lot. And I was really surprised how fast that he just whipped out the dark saber and started fighting with it. I really thought they were going to kind of tease that out and maybe build it up, a little bit more before having him pull it out in some kind of like, oh, I don't know, kind of conflicted moment. But no, he pulled it out right in the middle of the fight, started swinging with it. And I was, definitely stoked and shocked to see that. But I also like too, though, how he wasn't that good with it yet. He's not, he doesn't have it mastered. This episode has a lot of Darksaber and Mandalorian lore too, which is definitely sick. And I don't even think that's out of place in a Boba Fett show. I think there could have been a little bit of, we'll get into it, but there could have been a little bit they could have done with Boba Fett, implementing into that lore, and maybe his kind of perspective on that lore could have been cool too. But this opening scene kicked ass, man. And he just straight up too at the end, the dude he was looking for after he fought, all his little henchmen or whatever, he just straight slams them on the table and just goes full, just like, just karate. I mean, not karate, fucking. I swear a lot. Sorry, I'll try not to for Star Wars and stuff. But but he goes full blown, just chops him in half like it's a samurai movie, on the table, and it's boom, just like those crazy, the cuts and the chops in the half. It reminds me of like the prequels, because like I said, Star Wars is brutal, man. The prequels are brutal. There's lots of just dismemberment and explosions and stuff, and it just reminded me, it's even our main characters here. They get down, so this scene kicked ass. Obviously, I'm not, I don't have anything to, I think everybody's in agreement there that this was a badass scene. But yeah, so he's looking for information, there's another picture of them Darksaber. I was so fucking stoked. But what he's doing is he's looking for information to find the Forge Master from the first episode, or from the first season of The Mandalorian. And I think that they did a great job of, like, with Din Djarin in general. He's really like a stand-in for the audience, and you can really just kind of follow him, and just like, even if you don't know what he's up to, because you don't know what he's up to for the first, couple minutes of this episode, these people offer to pay him, and they keep on saying like, oh, stay with us, we'll pay you double to stay with us, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, nah, just give me my information. I gotta go. I'm not playing. I don't have time for this. And I like that, because, you don't even really know what he's doing yet, but, the audience are still willing to follow him, and you're still curious about like what he's up to. And yeah, Din Djarin, I mean, I could, go on about him. But yeah, so he goes and he meets up with the Forge Master here, and they end up, talking about where he's been, all this stuff. Obviously, this is a training scene. She teaches him a lot about the Darksaber, about the prophets, like just the history of it, and talking about the legend saying that if it's not rightfully won in combat, that it's a curse. And a lot of the way the Forge Master is one of my favorite characters. A lot of the exposition characters in Star Wars, like, I know a lot of people don't like exposition, but to me, like, Star Wars gives you just enough. And then those characters that know that knowledge are also shrouded in mystery. She reminds me of like an Obi-Wan in A New Hope, who, he knows all this shit. He knows about the Clone Wars. He knows about Anakin, about Darth Vader. And, but you don't really know that much about him. We just met him, or the audience only knows so much about him. And so the Forge Master to me, for him to, find her and also find, I forgot his name, but he's Jon Favreau's character. He's another Mandalorian. He's the more bulky guy. I forgot his name. He's part of the House of Vizsla. Yeah, that becomes, part of the story too right here. But yeah, so it's real cool to see these guys again. I liked it. I really like just the setting. They're like under the entire base, so it's just deep space underneath them. And, obviously those bottomless caverns are, iconic imagery for Star Wars. And, yeah, I really like the new hideout that they're at, and the fact that, the Mandalorians there, they have to stay in hiding. This is a cool place to, end up. And anyways, so, he talks about, kind of fills around on what we've been going on. And this guy ends up challenging him to a duel because of, that was his clan, forged the Darksaber at first. So yeah, I really like this scene of him challenging for the Darksaber, because he thinks it's his family right and stuff. He's got the Vibra Blade, which is those are in the books a lot, the expanded the expanded universe or whatever. Yeah, so I really like to see that the Vibra Blades, they did that in the first season. They pulled those out on each other, and that was a nice touch. And yeah, it was a cool fight. I thought for a second he really might lose it because I don't know. I feel like maybe these Star Wars shows like are. They like to take their time with stuff sometimes, or maybe tease things and not follow through, but have a follow through later. So I legitimately thought he might lose it in this scene. I didn't know, and that's good though, because I thought might be some stakes. He might actually lose it. I would have been bummed if he lost it to basic. I mean, this guy's not random, but I mean, come on, he's not the Mandalorian, and we're not going to get to. If he lost it, we wouldn't get to see him help Boba Fett with the Darksaber. But that's good. There's actual tension there. They created a real conflict. And once he even gets it knocked out of his, like, Din Djarin gets the Darksaber knocked out of his hand at one point, and the other dude tries to use it on him, but he's it's really fighting against them. And I like the idea, they really established this in this episode, that the Darksaber is almost, it has a force flowing through it, and it really interacts with its wielder in a way that's different than any other saber, like in the Star Wars mythos, whatever. There's been a bigger kind of like implementation of that, I feel like, too, just like the lightsabers having a personality in themselves, which I get. That's the whole thing is, you find the Kyber and the Kyber calls to you and stuff. So I'm not against that idea or anything. I actually think it's sick the way they're doing it with the Darksaber, especially because it's such a kind of legendary S rank item, in this in the Filoni verse, as they call it. But yeah, this fight scene was awesome. We learn a lot about Mandalorian lore and what really happened, and how Bo-Katan, she allegedly didn't earn the Darksaber in the, proper way. It was given to her instead of winning it in combat. And we get to see this crazy scene of Mandalore just getting utterly wiped out by a bunch of Imperial bombers and stuff. And, to me, this is straight Star Wars. This reminds me of like Alderaan blowing up, or, even Order 66 or something. This is the stuff that's implied in this level of like, this is the Empire, and this, it gives you just a sense of awe at the destruction. You're watching the whole planet just get murked. And this scene is the Night of 1,000 Tears too. The way that she talks about it, it really makes it feel like it's a historical event, and that really hurt the people. And their sect of Mandalorian, Din Djarin, were able to survive because they were off planet. And just total bomb, pun intended on the Mandalorian lore. And I really dig that. Obviously everybody was, I think, a lot of, it's no secret that people are enjoying this episode. There's a lot that got revealed here, and we learned a lot as the audience. And then you get to see these K2SO droids. just freaking wiping out any survivors under the rubble. These guys are terrifying, man. I like the idea of using more like, iconic Star Wars stuff, but making it scary almost and creating like real tension, because this stuff's intense, man. It's like if it's Star Wars, and Rogue One was one of my favorite movies. I feel like Rogue One did that the best. They made all the things that are kind of corny or cheesy, or they made stormtroopers a threat. They made K2SO. K2SO is one of the best characters in that movie. But the whole thing just feels so tense. Like you don't want to be there. And if you saw one of these things, you'd be terrified. And I like that a lot. So this scene definitely, 10 out of 10, real great stuff for here. Yeah, this whole arc, I almost expected it to be like, like I said, I thought all this would be the first half of the episode. And, so we take the Beskar spear that he used to fight Moff Gideon in the season 2. I keep on getting all confused, season 1, season 2. But yeah, season 2 here, they melted the Beskar spear down, and they're gonna make something for Grogu, and basically it's setting up that he's gonna, he misses Grogu, and I think we all miss Grogu a little bit, especially if with the show having a mixed reception the way it is, and everybody loves that little guy. So yeah, the setup that we're gonna see Grogu again. So they melt down the spear, and he has the Forge Master forge him something. We don't know what it is yet. We see some chain links fall, so a lot of people are saying chain mail or like a little necklace with a medallion, like a charm or something. I could see it being a charm with like a maybe a medallion or something, but we'll see. Obviously we'll see. I think we're gonna see Grogu next episode. That's kind of what's implied. If we do, I really hope it's just for the first episode. I do want to see Luke. Everybody wants to see Luke. I'm not saying I don't want to see Luke, but I do want to see some Boba Fett, and I want to see those two bounce off each other. But it seems like the way we'll get there. But yeah, so he's carrying this around as he's traveled. I forgot to add it, but he travels via like a commercial flight, and it's the droid from Star Tours, which was the original Star Wars droid at Disneyland. I really liked that. That was a nice touch, because that guy kicks ass too. The old Star Tours ride was amazing, and I always loved that shit as a kid. So yeah, those, it's cool. Let's see here. See what else here. So so he goes back to and they don't let him. He has to check in all his weapons, which I thought was, I guess it was just the excuse to give them the interaction with the droid there from Star Tours. But anyways, he goes to Tatooine because he gets the message that he's got a new ship from Pelimato. Is her name Pelimato? Which this is actually I like this actress a lot, and I like this character a lot because she was Princess Carolyn on BoJack Horseman, and that is one of my favorite shows of all time. And so I can't help but have a little bit extra affinity for this character because of that. But she's great. She's got, dude, I feel like a great character to bring in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy together, because then you got Jawas, you got the Bonk droids, you got R4, you got all this stuff. And it's the idea is, it's just a scrapper and an engineer who works on Tatooine. You're going to see everything coming through. So that's a great character, I think, to, bring it all together. I even felt that way when I saw her in Mando season 1. So, yeah, great character. Obviously cool to, we saw her in the background on another episode of Boba Fett, so definitely saw it coming that she was gonna pop in somehow. But yeah, she's great. So like, I like her. But basically, she let him know she had a ship from, and it's a Naboo Starfighter N1 N1 Starfighter, and they it's all kind of a hunk of junk at first, but they rebuild it together. Which again, it's really clear that this was a Mandalorian season 3. Like they started season 3, and maybe everybody knows there was like rumors behind, like, problems behind the scenes, and Pedro Pascal double dipping, doing The Last of Us and doing this one, and having scheduling conflicts and stuff. So it really does seem like they started to film some stuff and they just didn't know what to do, or maybe they didn't want to like put it out and have them wait for like a long time for season 3. So it looks like they're putting some of that stuff in Book of Boba Fett, because it just feels different, like quality wise, like the shooting wise, the pacing wise, like the tone, like the way things are shot, like the cinematography feels a little different. Just the quality of like the sets and the quality of the CGI feels a little different to me. And it's just different. It doesn't feel like it's like I don't know how I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but it definitely feels distinct from the rest of the Book of Boba Fett we've been seeing. And I feel like these next couple episodes are probably going to have more of like a tone, more similarities to this episode than to the earlier episodes in the season. But I guess we'll find out. We got a new episode in 2 days. I'll probably do a video about that one too. So yeah, there's that guy there. They rebuild the N1 Starfighter. It's a whole kind of montage. We get some funny themes about like she's talking about how she dated a Jawa and they're furry, which I feel like I've heard that somewhere else before, like in some other comic or something, that they mentioned that it's like under the Jawa's hood they're like furry or gross or something to the texture. Like I feel like I've heard that somewhere else. I'm not sure where. If somebody could tell me where, let me know in the comments, because I have no clue. But I feel like I've heard that a long time ago. Like Jawa's a furry under their thing. But yeah, lots of Jawa play. Oh, it's funny because some of the parts they steal for his ship were from the train that Boba Fett blew up earlier in the season. So I thought that was a cool way for them to tie it in. And yeah, again, just chock full of Easter eggs. One of the parts they put into the back of the ship is the part that Han Solo puts up in the middle of the trash compactor, like that big rod thing. So tons of little Easter eggs in here. I love this episode. I already said that, but this was great too, because we also had a BD droid. BD droids are awesome. BD1 was awesome in Fallen Order. A lot of people are talking about how I don't think this is BD, like the BD1. I think it's just a BD droid. Like I didn't think it was BD1 at all the entire time. BD1. I mean, I know he has tons of different colors, but I feel like Cal Kestis, that's like his R2, so I don't think he would get rid of him or sell him or anything. But I think this is definitely implying that, we may see Cal Kestis at some point. I really hope we do. That's one of my favorite new characters as well. And I think he could fit into this whole kind of time period very well too, especially if we see him with Luke and he's already met up with Luke at that point. That'd be cool. But yeah, the BD droids, they're full of personality. They're hilarious. They're adorable. They're what a droid character should be. One of these small little droid characters, they can't, the ones that can't talk, I feel like they need to be extra adorable. But yeah, the BD droid helps him build the stuff, and it's just great. It's cool. It's just, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, they get this thing running, and it's really cool because he takes it. He flies it through Beggar's Canyon too, which is from that's what Luke Skywalker talks about, flying his speeder through, and then also he takes it through the course of the original Phantom Menace. And it's the same exact course where they had the pod race. So like just mad nostalgia. And the way I really liked the way they depicted the speed of these things, because, it's kind of janky when he's flying it, at like a slow speed. But once he like gets it going, like it just bolts out. And I don't know, it's just awesome. Like I like when they show, again, kind of that realism factor of like showing how fast these things would move or how hard these things would hit, or how scary something like a droid or the Empire or anything would be, so really cool there. I loved this scene of him just gliding through the canyon. He like does like a like a narrow turn and flies sideways through a hella tight spot. You get to see some Womp Rats scuttling around. Definitely major Phantom Menace vibes. Everybody was talking about that. Because he hops out of the thing too, and he's like, "How to fly?" He's like, "Wizard," and he says "Wizard." And that's what they said when in Phantom Menace when he was building his pod racer and shit. So, yeah, definitely, if you're a big Phantom Menace fan, you're loving this. And then he even takes it out, and he gets pulled over by these by the New Republic Rangers, which I feel like it's so interesting to make them just kind of in the standard uniform in an X-Wing. Like, it's just weird to me I mean, not weird, but I guess I never thought of them. I'm so used to seeing them as the rebellion in the X-Wings that like them as like patrol cops almost is so like, not, it's just, it's new, I guess. And it's a different position to see them in, which is cool though. And I like how much I'm eager to learn more about the New Republic in canon. I feel like we just barely have gotten anything except for the fact that they're out there, they're trying to handle it, and they're having trouble. That's all I've heard, as far as I'm concerned, in the shows or in the video games or anything. But yeah, so it is though actually a Ranger who was on episode 2 of season 2 of The Mandalorian, and they had that scuffle, and they ended up on the ice planet with the spiders. So he recognizes them, and then Mando ends up dipping out on him because he's got these new sub light speed thrusters or whatever. They really tricked this thing out, and I think this ship actually does a good job of like pushing those nostalgia buttons, but also just giving them something better and something, because the Razor Crest, I did not like the Razor Crest. I thought that thing was kind of ugly. It reminded me of like the Winnebago from Spaceballs. Like, it's okay, it's fine. Like, it's fine. I thought the Razor Crest was kind of ugly, so I'm kind of happy he's got something a little more sleek, a little more kind of edgy looking, almost a little more something battle ready. Because it really did. It felt like he was driving around in like a beater, like it's like just like a old, I don't know, like a van. I don't know. It felt like a van. That's what the Razor Crest reminded me of. So definitely stoked to see a new ship for him. But yeah. Oh, and this guy, I just feel like I should mention this one too. Is that's actually the body double for when they did the Luke Skywalker scene in Mando season 2, which again I'll probably do a breakdown of that someday. But great job, and they're probably gonna use him to do a Luke Skywalker scene at some point. Probably next episode. Again, a lot of people think that Luke's gonna come up next episode. They're gonna see Grogu again probably. But yeah. So I just thought I should mention that too, because that's cool. Obviously, I think that's a hint too that we definitely are gonna see Luke. So let me see. Yeah, so that's all I got for that one right there. I'm gonna take it back to the top here. I definitely liked all this stuff in the beginning with I liked all of it. The episode was great, but again, I can't help but mention the distinct lack of Boba Fett. Like, he wasn't in it hard, like, at all. He literally wasn't in it at all, and that's kind of almost a missed potential. I feel like he could have really easily maybe somehow fit into the beginning part, or if like, I don't know, maybe even if he was just like maybe through communications with Din Djarin, that could have been cool. But he wasn't in it at all, and I think that's just a missed opportunity. Even though we got a amazing setup for season 3. Oh, something I forgot to mention. Oh gosh, how could I forget? After this duel here, he the armorer asks him. She says, who have you taken off your helmet before? And Din has to say yes, because at this point he has twice now. And she drops his ass, bro. She says, you ain't a Mandalorian. You gotta go back to Mandalore and go in the springs and go purify yourself again. And yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's such a I don't want to use the word filler because it has a bad connotation, but I mean, as far as the Book of Boba Fett is, it was some filler, honestly, and it did a lot for the Filoniverse. And I think hopefully these next 2 episodes are probably gonna be insane. I'm not even gonna lie. I think everybody's feeling it in their bones. Something crazy is about to happen. But we'll see. Like I said, I wish maybe if this tied a little more into the conflict that was to come too. Like maybe if he was going against like a Pike in the beginning, I think that could have been cool. I think obviously the unrelated kind of end of a side quest is always a cool, way to do a beginning of an episode or a beginning of a comic book. But I think that they could have done a teensy tiny, just smidge more to tie it in. They did a little bit with the Jawas getting the part from the train, and but it just tied more into the Mandalorian, and obviously, except for the end. At the end, Fennec Shand says, we're gonna, Bubba needs your help. We're gonna fight the Pikes, and then he says, oh yeah, I'll help you, but I need to go do something first. Which again, to me, tells me that we're gonna go follow Din more off of Tatooine, away from Boba Fett. And I don't know. I just feel like maybe, I'm excited to see. It's a mixed bag. A lot of people feel the same way. It's rubbing them kind of a little sideways or whatever. But it's, I'm happy. I'm happy with this episode. I don't care, honestly, because it's a really great episode. We get tons of action. We get tons of lore. And that's really what it comes down to in Star Wars, man. You got action and your lore. And the thing is, something I've been wanting to say that's been on my mind about like the Book of Boba Fett. A lot of people have been saying that it's focusing more on character. Let's just go back to right here. A lot of people have been saying that's focusing more on character instead of action. But to me, in Star Wars, the action is the characterization. Like we're supposed to see like their actions speak for them. Look at Han Solo's intro, where he shoots Greedo first without a warning just because he knows it's what he's got to do. That tells us what we need to know about him, because he's willing, he's cutthroat, he's going to do it, he's going to get down, and he doesn't, it says more about, what we might expect from him than if he was just to be like, I'm going to rule, I'm going to do what I need to do. And he just kind of repeated himself a lot. And that's kind of how a lot of people have been feeling about Boba Fett, is it's not really about characterization. He's just kind of talking a lot. instead of doing things that would show, what he's all about. And I think another example too that I like to think of about characterization is like a lot of people say in Attack of the Clones that the action scenes are kind of pointless. Like there's pointless action. That's kind of what I hear in about Attack of the Clones. But to me, I feel like, especially because Anakin has a lot of those action scenes in Attack of the Clones, that is his characterization again. He gets to, he's extremely competent, even though he's an awkward teenager. He's rash, he's angry, he's totally a mess. But when it comes down to fighting and getting things done, he kills it, and he's over the top, and he's he's able to do all these crazy, wild things. And, that is his characterization to me. I'm trying to think of another example. Or even, I mean, look at, Darth Vader just choking everybody out left and right. I know that's kind of a blend, but exactly, I mean, just all that kind of stuff. And, Boba Fett got this reputation from, just being badass and standing there and being smart too. Like how he's able to track, Han and Leia and all that in Empire Strikes Back, even though they were being sly, in the Millennium Falcon, he was smart enough to, stick right behind him and do something, different that they would do. And he was able to find him that way. So again, without using words, he's able to show how resourceful he is, how smart he is. He's able to think, 2-3 steps ahead. And I think a lot of people just aren't seeing that from this Boba. And I think too, like a lot, like, yeah, basically. And I think too, something that's missing is that Tamora Morrison, I can tell he wants to do a lot of physical acting. I feel like even Din Djarin too, there's a lot of physical acting. It's a lot of body language. It's a lot of like, subtle head nods, subtle that, kind of expressions where you have to do your best to read what's behind the camera or behind the helmet, my bad. But yeah. So I think Tamora Morrison could have been, I think he would have really done a even better job if it was a lot of just body language acting, So, but yeah, overall, love the episode. Bubba wasn't in it. It felt a little off because of that. That's why I even put Mandalorian season 3 episode. Oh, wait, yeah, but I'm still blessed as a Star Wars fan to be getting this kind of content. It was, I'm still happy. And hopefully this week we see some really crazy things. Yeah, that's going to do it for me today. Gonna probably make a episode or another video soon. This is my first video by myself, so let me know how I did in the comments. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. Here is my Instagram again there, Adrian Grody. I make comic books and I do music sometimes, not much lately. But yeah, so come on by, check what's up. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you probably soon. I'll see you on ZUDECAST if you watch ZUDECAST too. And I mean, if you watch ZUDECAST, you're on this channel. But yeah, thank you very much. See you next time. Ho.